Good morning and welcome to Christians Aren't Sheep, a beginner's guide to meditation. My name is Ron Heinrichs. I'm the host of this show, and this channel is totally dedicated to Isaiah 40 verse 31. All those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. They will rise up with wings like eagles. They will run and not be weary. They will walk and not faint. Amen. Okay, this is Saturday morning. I've done my stretching, exercising on all my machines. Starting to feel pretty good. And yeah, got a little bit of morning meditation to do yet, and we're still reading from Our Daily Bread. You can go online, Our Daily Bread, and you can get this information for yourself. These little booklets come out on a quarterly basis, and yeah. In any case, this morning's reading is called No Cursing. William Shakespeare was a master of the insult, a quality that actor Barry Kraft adeptly leverages with his Shakespeare insult generator. The clever book consists of obscure insults drawn from Shakespeare's plays. For instance, you might disparage someone by saying, "Thou thrasonical, log-headed Rampillion," which is so much more creative than saying, "You brag a lot and you're not very smart, you scoundrel." Kraft's light-hearted book is in good fun, but an ancient king of Moab tried to pay a mysterious prophet not merely to insult the Israelites, but to outright curse them. "Come and put a curse on these people," King Balak told Balaam. Instead, Balaam enraged the king by blessing the Hebrew people multiple times. One of his blessings included this prophecy: "I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near." Clearly, the individual in view is not yet on the scene. But just who is Balaam talking about? The next line holds the clue. "A star will come out of Jacob. A scepter will rise out of Israel." The star would one day lead wise men to the promised child. An ancient Mesopotamian prophet who knew nothing of Messiah pointed the world to a future sign declaring his arrival. From an unlikely source came not cursing, but blessing. The thought for today, and by the way, this reading came from Numbers chapter 24. How does Numbers 24 help you see the Christmas story differently? How might it change the way you act when you encounter people opposing the work of God? Well, prayer for this morning. God, please give me eyes to see your hand at work in all things. Amen. Amen. All right. And if that's all you have time for this morning, that's fantastic. You have yourself a great day. Find something to be cheerful about. And for those of you who want a little more out of the quantum world, let's get back to Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, You are the placebo. You can find Dr. Joe's work online. He does a number of books. I'm not sure how many books he has, but this is one of my favorites. And he has lots of podcasts. You can listen to him. Very smart man. Okay, let's do another story this morning. Okay, get comfortable. Janice, a 46-year-old interior designer living in California, had suffered with depression since she was a teenager. She'd never sought help with the condition until she saw a newspaper ad in 1997. The UCLA Neuropsychiatric Institute was looking for volunteer subjects for a drug trial to test a new antidepressant called venlafaxine. Janice, whose depression had escalated to the point where the wife and mother had actually entertained thoughts of suicide, jumped at the chance to be part of the trial. When Janice arrived at the Institute for the first time, a technician hooked her up to an electroencephalograph, EEG, to monitor and record her brainwave activity for about 45 minutes. And not long after that, Janice left with a bottle of pills from the hospital pharmacy. She knew that roughly half of the group of 51 subjects would be getting the drug and half would receive a placebo. Although neither she nor the doctors conducting the study had any idea which group she had been randomly assigned to. And by the way, that's called a double-blind study, when the patient and the doctors don't know. Something that was never done with the jab. Sorry. In fact, no one would know until the study was over. But at the time, that hardly mattered to Janice. She was excited and hopeful that after decades of battling clinical depression, a condition that would cause her to sometimes suddenly burst into tears for no apparent reason, she might finally be getting help. Janice agreed to return every week for the entire 8 weeks of the study. On each occasion, she'd answer questions about how she was feeling, and several times she sat through yet another EEG. Not long after she started taking her pills, Janice began feeling dramatically better for the first time in her life. Ironically, she also felt nauseated. But that was good news because she knew that nausea was one of the common side effects of the drug being tested. She thought that she surely must have gotten the active drug if her depression was lifting and she was also experiencing side effects. Even the nurse she spoke to when she returned every week was convinced Janice must be getting the real thing because of the changes she was experiencing. Finally, at the end of the 8-week study, one of the researchers revealed a shocking truth. Janice, who was no longer suicidal and felt like a new person after taking the pills, had actually been in the placebo group. Janice was floored. She was sure the doctor had made a mistake. She simply didn't believe that she could have felt so much better after so many years of suffocating depression simply from taking a bottle of sugar pills. And she'd even gotten side effects. There must have been a mix-up. She asked the doctor to check the records again. He laughed good-naturedly as he assured her that the bottle she had taken home with her, the bottle that had given Janice her life back, indeed contained nothing but placebo pills. As she sat there in shock, the doctor insisted that just because she hadn't been getting any real medication, it didn't mean that she had been imagining her depression or her improvement. It only meant that whatever had made her feel better wasn't due to the drug. And she wasn't the only one. The study results would soon show that 38% of the placebo group felt better, compared to 52% of the group who received the drug. But when the rest of the data came out, it was the researchers' turn to be surprised. The patients like Janice, who had improved on the placebos, hadn't just imagined feeling better. They had actually changed their brainwave patterns. The EEG recordings taken so faithfully over the course of the study showed a significant increase in activity in the prefrontal cortex, which in depressed patients typically has very low activity. Thus, the placebo effect was not only altering Janice's mind, but also bringing about real physical changes in her biology. In other words, it wasn't just in her mind, it was in her brain. She wasn't just feeling well, she was well. Janice literally had a different brain by the end of the study without taking any drug or doing anything differently. It was her mind that had changed her body. More than a dozen years later, Janice still felt much improved. Now, one of the reasons why I'm reading this particular story this morning is I keyed in on this little tidbit here when it talks about how many people were helped. And she wasn't the only one. The study results would soon show that 38% of the placebo group felt better. That's not 100%. Obviously, the placebo effect isn't 100% accurate. And I've got to believe that it must have a lot to do with the strength of your belief in what you're doing or thinking. So maybe you have to have a stronger belief to make it work. So anyway, that's it for today. Find a reason to laugh. Have a great day. Bye-bye.